Oscar winner Dustin Lance Black is
Oscar
with us.
winner. It's very important there, that part.
He also won 2 WGA awards from the Writers Guild Romaine.
2 WGA winner and Oscar winner.
How much of that tequila did you
I
have?
haven't had any of it yet.
Okay. You can check him out on the web, DustinLanceBlack.com, and follow him on Twitter, as I do, DLanceBlack.
Wow, thank you.
Yes, I do, Romaine. Anyway. Now, Dustin Lance Black is going to be hosting the VIP room at Wonderland tonight here in downtown Disney at Ralph Brennan's Jazz Kitchen. It's a benefit for the Trevor Project.
Yes, please come down, please.
So please come down and support the Trevor Project and their work. It's nice to have you back with us on the show.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
Now, Dustin, I have a very important question for you about tonight's...
That's a mighty tall Coors Light.
Yes, yes, I'm a lesbian.
Is that why we are having fun here today?
Yeah, we are. Now, my question is, when Alec Mapa was the host of the Wonderland party, he dressed up like Mad Hatter.
He did.
So, are you planning any kind of special fabulousness in your costume?
No, I gotta get on that. No, I didn't know that.
Sexy.
I'll probably wear something nice and tight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm single now. I gotta, work
Single,
it.
eh? What kind of guy do you like?
Handsome.
I know a nice single gay. I don't know if I'd go as far as to call him handsome. It gives him a big head. But he's very witty.
He is.
Very smart. Likes to write, which I know you like. His name is Derek.
Oh yeah, he's
I've been really trying to find.
Blue eyes,
I've been trying to find him a mate for a very long time, and I'm kind of picky.
All right, well we'll get our drink on at the party tonight. Let's see what happens.
Okay. See, I'm working.
It's that easy.
Wow.
Beautiful.
No, I hope. Who all's coming down to Wonderland?
Are you all going to Wonderland tonight?
Come on. Every dollar goes to the Trevor Project.
That is true.
And it's a fun party.
It's a fun party. You have a good time. You kick off the big weekend.
Yeah.
And you're literally saving kids' lives across the country. So, how do you beat that?
Yeah.
That's true.
You don't have to watch any boring award show like these usual gay and lesbian fundraiser parties.
Yeah, I bet you've had to
have
go to a lot of
cocktails.
those.
Yeah, you get a lot of those. That Romaine chicken.
Yeah. You ever just get tired of it? Like, oh, do I have to do one more gay thing?
I get tired of the rubbery chicken.
Yeah.
I wish they'd mix it up. Serve spaghetti, but do something different.
Spaghetti. But that thing gets messy. It's messy.
He doesn't mind it getting messy. That's fine.
Okay, all right then. All right.
Now, you just had your play, Proposition 8. You did a one night only show on Broadway, and that was a big success. And you had a very special guest that was there.
Oh, which one?
Maggie Gallagher?
I was
thinking Maggie Gallagher. Yes.
Oh, yeah. Well, it was very successful. We raised $1 million for the American Foundation for Equal Rights. That's
Wow.
$1 million in one night. In 1 room.
Yeah.
So that all goes to support, every dollar of it to support the federal case for marriage. I mean, marriage in every single state now. And what's going on?
It's raining.
It's raining.
We have suddenly Dustin Lance Black sits down and bright sunlight bursts out behind him, and now rain.
It's rain and sunny. It's a miracle.
Yeah, imagine if you just made it rain while it's sunny.
So yeah, Maggie Gallagher showed up, was portrayed in the play. And, I don't think it's a very positive portrayal, but it's all her own words. It's everything she's ever said. So, I don't know, if she had a gripe with it, she should probably, not have said those things. But she did show up, and she resigned the next day. So maybe she liked the play.
Maybe. Well, there have been many defections from the National Organization for Marriage. Maybe it's falling apart.
Well, you have to wonder why these people are so passionate about hurting other people's lives. Like, what it is they're trying to cover up. I never understand why a truly straight person is that passionate about hurting gay people. I always wonder. I wonder where that comes from.
Well, but when you're putting together something, because Proposition 8 is, based on, the actual trial around Proposition 8 and everything. So, and you have dealt with real people in your work a lot. So as a writer, though, do you often find yourself trying to figure out what the motivation of real people is, especially in a case like this?
No, I always do, and I try to humanize it. I try to really get to the root of it instead of making them sort of good guy, bad guy, black hat, white hat kind of. I don't like those depictions, and so I think it's say Milk with Dan White. I wanted to figure out why he was the way he was, because maybe we can get to the root of why these people have so much hate in their hearts for gay and lesbian people. Right. Same thing now in J. Edgar, which comes out November 9th.
I know.
Coming out soon.
I've been seeing the trailer. I'm very excited.
And that was a lot of research, too, to find out who was this closeted gay man with all of this power who lashed out against people in his own community, the gay and lesbian community, gay and lesbian people, and what made him do that. And I think, if you just vilify them, then you don't learn about it. Right. And if you don't learn about it, you can't stop it. Right. You can't cure it. You can't help it. So, that is something that's important for me to do. And certainly, in Maggie's case, I would love to sit down with her and find out why it is she is so passionate about this.
Well, and with J. Edgar, with the movie coming out, this is a case of somebody who had a very long, very famous career, but was also somebody who was very secretive, did not reveal a lot of information about himself in public, and so much of what we know about J. Edgar Hoover has actually sort of come out after he died, because he was such a powerful person. A lot of people were really afraid of him. So, for you in researching him, did you discover things about J. Edgar Hoover that you didn't know about as well?
Yeah, a lot of it was confirmation of things that I suspected. I suspected that he probably wasn't the things that people on the extreme said he was. I suspected he wasn't the great savior, Puritan of the conservative movement. And I suspected he likely also didn't run around at Roy Cohn's house in a dress. And so I was going into that sort of research and finding, the truth of the man, which oftentimes was more heartbreaking, but also more heinous. And also, you get to it, because I don't know that this movie could have been made 10 years ago. I don't think people were ready to accept that you could be a great American and a gay or lesbian person. So nowadays, when you go into the FBI and you just ask the question, do you think he could have been? Instead of it being an immediate no way, that couldn't happen, they go, maybe. Right. And how should that be anything that hurts his legacy? That shouldn't be something that hurts his legacy. That shouldn't factor into what a good American or a bad American is. And so that has really changed. It's been a sea change, and I really was heartened to see that the FBI is not a homophobic place at all anymore.
But what do you think of, say, this recent Republican debate where there was a question from now an openly gay soldier, and this, what should be considered a great American, was booed by the audience, and the response from the Republicans was, I must have missed out.
That's shameful. That was absolutely shameful that those candidates did not stand up right then and right there and condemn that audience. Clearly the people in that audience, I think, were the extreme in this nation.
Right.
Most people know that gay and lesbian people have been serving in the military for generations. I grew up in the military. We've always been there. We've been defending our country. Now we can do so and lift our heads high as who we are and present our families when we go to events. That was really heinous and shameful. And not that there was a lot of love lost for me with those candidates, but I lost even more.
But see, because Derek knows that I don't really care much about politics, but for me, knowing that none of them had the courage to stand up and do the right thing in that kind of situation says to me, how can you be the leader of our nation? How can you stand up for the people who are incapable of standing up for themselves when you couldn't even do it in an opportunity where you had the perfect moment to really show and demonstrate what a leader is?
Right, and to understand what diversity is, and to understand that you're going to represent the United States of America, not just conservatives in Florida.
Right. Now, with your new film, J. Edgar, that is coming out in November, this is a movie about a powerful closeted gay man. And you also wrote Milk, won the Oscar, which is about a powerful, openly gay man. Yes. And also, because you're looking at sort of two different time periods and two different men who approached life in very different ways. Right. So for you as a writer, was it interesting to look at these different times and places to be gay, and then how different people reacted to those times?
Well, that's what I was so curious about. I started working on Hoover months and months before Milk ever came out. I didn't know that it would get the reception it did. Right. I was glad it did, but I thought here was an opportunity to examine a man who was the exact mirror of Milk. He already had tons of political power. Milk didn't. He wanted it. Milk was, was out of the closet and brought great hope. So what happens if you're closeted and trying to keep other people closeted? What happens to your soul, and what do you do to those around you? And I came to find it twists your soul. It darkens your soul. And it makes your life less livable. And so, I thought it was really interesting to be able to tell this cautionary tale of the other side of milk. And, there's other great things that the man did, and I think that's the tragedy of it, is he was so brilliant. When you look at what he was doing in 1910, 1919, 1925, when he was a young man, organizing the Library of Congress, creating the FBI, really doing some courageous, wonderful things for the country, you go, man, if he hadn't have just become this dark figure, this scared, dark, protective figure, which I think had a lot to do with shutting down that place where love goes in your heart. What good he could have done, what good that mind could have done. It's really, really a tragedy. So, I hope in that way it tells mothers and fathers across this land, hey, you might have some brilliant, beautiful kids, but if you tell them they're not allowed to love in this life, you'll ruin them. You'll ruin them.
Now, obviously, the director in this film is the terrific Clint Eastwood.
Yeah.
So were you at all intimidated in working with Clint on the new movie?
I was really fortunate that the first times I met him, we were on the phone, because he was up in Carmel and I'm down here in Los Angeles. So I couldn't see that it was Clint. I could hear the voice.
Sure.
But we would talk for quite some time on the phone, going over the sort of research and the history of it, getting into it. But yeah, that first time he walks in, he's the boss, man. He's Dirty Harry. And you're like, but hey, did you see what he did? Did you see what he did in GQ?
I did. I saw the interview with him, and it was great.
I knew he was, we all know he's a conservative guy, and he's a libertarian. He was the Republican mayor up in Carmel for some time. And I had a feeling from the conversations I've had with him, and for how he treated the gay content in Hoover, which was stellar, in J. Edgar. But for him to come out publicly and just say that he's in favor of gay and lesbian people being able to be married in this country, I thought it was astounding to have that guy from that generation who's so beloved in this country come out and say, I don't give an F who you want to marry, and that people should be able to love who they want to love in this life. Is pretty extraordinary.
But do you take the time to give yourself credit for your impact on people like Clint?
No. But, we have those conversations.
Right.
And he and I have had those conversations. I think he's a libertarian at heart, so I think he was pretty much there. I know I don't, but I also think his wife, Dina, is pretty spectacular. She probably has something to do with it, too.
So you don't take the time to just sit back and think, wow, I really do make a huge impact in not just the lives of, other celebrities, but realistically in the lives of a lot of conservative people who have, watched movies like Milk. And we know as members of the media, it changes the way people see things.
Yeah.
So you don't ever just take a moment. You don't ever just take a moment and think, yep, I get that.
No,
that's pretty
I get a little bad. I was raised Mormon. We try to be, sort of bashful about those things and taking credit and whatnot. So I'm feeling bashful right now about it. But it is important what you said about the conservative thing, which is when we founded AFAIR, the American Foundation for Equal Rights, and we said we're going to sue the state of California in federal court so we can get marriage everywhere, including my home state of Texas. We did so with Theodore Olson. We went to the right. We went to the conservatives because we said it is time that we really clearly state what the conservative case for gay marriage is. And I think Theodore Olson has done that wonderfully. He did it on the cover of Newsweek. He does it on the radio shows. And I think it's letting a lot of people who are in my family, I'm not a conservative, but a lot of people in my family are. They're Mormon, they're military, and I don't think they hate gay people. And all of a sudden they got Clint Eastwood and Theodore Olson saying, hey, guess what? That's okay. In fact, it's probably good. And so there I think we're changing minds where we need to be changing minds. You can't just preach to the choir all the time, although it's fun.
It is fun. Well, I grew up in Utah. I have a lot of my family is Mormon also. And I think it has been very difficult for the members of my family who do not hate gay people, who are not opposed to gay marriage, and having to reconcile the official church doctrine in this area. Because the way that the Mormon church is set up, you don't question what the official line is. And so it has been very hard for them emotionally to deal with that. Have you found that in your own family as well?
Oh, sure, yeah. Half of my family is no longer Mormon, and my mom's side is not. My father's side is. But, you got to stay engaged. You got to hold them accountable, like when I did 8 the Mormon Proposition. Really hold them accountable for what they did. Thank you. but then open up a conversation. So that's when we went out to Utah and we started talking with some of the church officials and the departments out there, and I built friendships with these guys. And a lot of it is that they don't know us. They really don't know us. And you start to introduce yourselves. We're not the things they thought we were. I didn't show up in sort of a thong and dancing to some sort of house music.
You didn't?
That was much later in the night.
I was gonna say. Saving that for family home music.
No, he's saving that for Wonderland tonight.
Yeah, I'm saving that for tonight.
That's
tonight.
We got it.
But you start that conversation, and the Mormon Church is changing. They are starting to shift. They've told their bishops it's no longer a sin. They're not all the way there, but it's no longer a sin to be gay. They don't want to be the highest rate of gay and lesbian teen suicide in this country anymore. They don't want to be the highest in teen homelessness in this country anymore. And at 8, the Mormon Proposition, no, not 8, the Mormon Proposition, 8 the play in New York, I had the greatest treat because as I was walking out of the theater to go get changed, people were starting to come in. And one of my great heroes as a Mormon kid was the quarterback Steve Young. And he was raised up as a great Mormon in the church. And he was coming into the play, and he said hello, and he said that he was a great supporter of equal marriage. And I know he's a hero in the Mormon community, and it meant a lot to me. And I know that there's a lot more Steve Youngs, and I hope that they'll make their voices heard in that church.
I hope so too, actually. I mean, because I feel like there's...
you don't know who Steve Young is, do you? You don't watch it, you're like, you're
no,
looking at me
I do.
like,
Wait, no,
you're like, football? Is that how you hold a bat in your hand in this?
Yeah, that's exactly what he is. Derek, I think we have a football in the bag from Coors Light. Maybe we should get that, and we can show you what a football looks like.
No, I didn't immediately... The name was very familiar to me growing up in Utah, but no, I did not. I know what football is.
All right, good.
This is a football, Derek.
Here we go. I know what a football is.
That is a football.
They threw it to a lesbian, of course.
Yes. Perhaps.
Want me to throw it at the crowd?
No, don't hurt anyone. Don't throw it. Go back. You practically took that woman's head off with that football.
Yeah, but that was pretty good. I was impressed.
Thank you. I was
so
going for
bad.
comedy, but
I thought it was going to be an end-to-end thing. You got a good one.
all right, see,
Butch.
there you go. That one time. So you have a unique phenomenon, Dustin Lance Black, as a writer, that you have become a pop culture figure and celebrity and everything, which does not happen. Writing is a generally very solitary thing. So how have you dealt with the fame that has come along with this career of yours?
Yeah, it's really bizarre. No one gets into writing thinking that they're going to be recognized in a coffee shop.
Right.
So that's a bit, I hang out a little bit more at home when I write, but I mean, it's a privilege, are you kidding? And I think partly why people know me is more for the activist work than the writing credits. And so, in that way, I get to hear a lot of great stories and engage with some really interesting people. I mean, I love going to places like New York. You're forced out into coffee shops to write. You don't want to be in your little hotel room or apartment. And I meet just the greatest people, and they tell me really wonderful stories about what it was like for them to come out, and what it was like for them to be gay in this era or that era. And, it's a privilege.
Isn't it cool, though, when you have a certain level of success and you're able to take that success and turn it into, because obviously activism is very important to you, and when you're able to take that and turn it into opportunities that maybe you wouldn't have if you weren't as successful and really make a bigger impact, like this, we've kind of had that opportunity.
Sure.
We recently did an AIDS ride, and if we were just two normal people, we wouldn't raise nearly the money we did.
Right.
Except for the two normal people who almost raised it.
Well, those people were phenomenal. But it is really cool when you can kind of take that, the fame that you've acquired, and you can really push it into something bigger and just with a bigger impact.
Well, I think there's a responsibility there too.
Yeah.
There's only enough room for so many voices to be heard, and you better do good with it. And in this case, I know for me, growing up was really tough, and it's not so much. It's a lot of work, but it's not so much work to make sure it's better for other kids growing up in San Antonio, Texas tonight.
Right.
And I think, like what we're doing tonight with the Trevor Project, I think that's one good example. Just making sure these kids have a place to call. You know how many lives we've lost because they don't know who to call? They don't have anyone to talk to. They don't have mentors in their community. So, pay the $20 and go to Wonderland tonight and have some fun and make sure that can happen.
Dustin Lance Black is with us, and he is hosting the VIP room at Wonderland here tonight at Ralph Brennan's Jazz Kitchen in downtown Disney for Gay Days Anaheim. It kicks off tonight at 9:30 p.m. It's $20 at the door, and every single dollar goes toward the Trevor Project, so you should definitely support the work that they do as well. And we appreciate you being with us. It's been a lot of fun hanging out with you again.
Thanks for having me.
And we saw you actually when we were here. We were in town in May, and we saw you as we were leaving Tender Greens.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, you were going in to eat. And we were going out in the car, and I was like, oh, I think that was Dustin Lance Black. Should we go and say hi? I was like, oh, no, we're on our way to the car.
Yeah, this is good.
But anyway, we saw you there on your way to enjoy a lovely salad, a healthy salad. So. But we didn't say hi, I'm sorry.
Well, do it next time.
I know, but we were doing our thing. And it was after we left, so whatever. But next time we will say.
Next time we'll be like, hey.
Yes.
Next time, some flank steak and what do they have? Spinach and flank steak, and those are some fancy ass salads over there.
Yeah, it's a really fancy salad place.
I know. Well, right across the street at that coffee shop, so I stop in.
Oh, that makes it easy.
Crazed. Yeah, it's good.
And that's your break?
That's my whole break. Yeah.
Well, good. I appreciate you being with us. Great to see you again.
Yeah, thank you very much.
We'll look forward to seeing you tonight at Wonderland.
All right, see you tonight.
We will be there.
All right. Thanks.
You bet. All right, thanks, Dustin. Dustin Lance Black for being with us. Check him out here tonight at Romaine Jazz Kitchen in downtown Disney for the benefit of the Trevor Project. $20 at the door. And of course, check him out on the web, DustinLanceBlack.com. Follow him on Twitter, DLanceBlack on Twitter. And his new movie on Hoover is going to be opening in November. Check that out. Starring Leonardo DiCaprio, directed by Clint Eastwood. And the trailers are out now. It's awesome. A little hand-holding in the back of the limo. Something to look forward to. All right, here you go. Coming up next, we are going to be joined by DJ Ray Rhodes, and later on, we're going to have something else. I don't have the thing in front of me, so I don't remember.
Oh, Jared, what is? I don't even have it in front of me.
Brian Sappy from Current TV. That's okay. Coming up, live from the House of Blues in downtown Disney for Gay Days Anaheim.